Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Gold Bazan. Today we'll be interviewing Iranian American Katayoun Khosrowyar, who's led basically a mini revolution for Iranian women in football through her work. She's the first ever Iranian woman to have her FIFA A license, notable former captain of the Iranian women national team, and currently has a seat in the Sports National Oversight Board, and also is coaching the national under-14 team. Through her work, she's trying to popularize and normalize this sport in Iran. Golbazan has a very, very great pleasure of interviewing her today, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Hi guys, right now I'm joined with Katayoun Khosrowyar. As you notably know, this person is basically empowering women through sports, and she's been an inspiration for many Iranian women these days through her work, and it's a pleasure to have you on, Kat. Thank you for coming on Golbazan.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. So my first question, obviously, to you is, obviously I knew that you attended Tehran International School for the Women's. I did as well. So how was that experience like for you to basically move from Oklahoma to Iran? And was that a culture shock to you, knowing that you, but not knowing Farsi at the time? How was that for you, the big transition?
Well, there was one fact that was wrong was I never traveled to Iran before that. Yeah, I was born in Oklahoma, but I was able to move around a lot. So I spent a lot of my years in Texas, and usually during the summers I went to outside of the U.S., London, Spain, whatnot. But whenever I came to Iran, it was a huge culture shock for me. Not in anything bad. It was just like I've never had so much family surrounding me. Because come on, it's not every day that you get to have your uncles and your aunts right next to you, and instead you have your neighbors and their dogs and whatnot. So for me, the culture shock was that it was very family orientated, and people were very much involved and embedded within each other. And I think that's what I really appreciated, and that's the main reason why I wanted to stay in Iran, was because I didn't have that back in the States or anywhere else that I was able to travel to. So moving to Iran, regardless of not knowing the language, I was able to learn it very, very fast, because not many people spoke English, but they knew a few words here and there, and it was such a beautiful language that I just had to learn it.
That's really interesting, Kat. I'm gonna pass it on now to Armin. He's gonna ask you the second question.
Okay.
Besides playing for the Iranian national team, did you ever play for any clubs overseas?
Yes, I was raised in the U.S. until I was 17, and I was playing since I was 5-6 years old, and I moved up the ladder professionally. So I went from just playing with a recreational team to going to a club to going into my school team, and then playing on the state team. And from there, I just went straight to the national team of Iran. And whenever I wanted to go to uni, I actually went to my first year in Madrid and played for a team called Carranza, which was the number one team back in 2006 whenever I graduated. And then I continually played so much for the national team, because the national team of Iran just started. So there was always camp. So I was either studying or going to camp. I really never had time to go play professionally because I was so focused on the national team until we started playing international games and getting involved in tournaments. That was all I ever had time for, and then that really sums up my experience with the national team of Iran, and how I matured over the years since I started playing from day one.
Sure, great.
My next question that I have for you, Kat, is, obviously growing up in the States and now you're in Iran, what really made you to represent women's national team for Iran over, obviously the United States? Was it something personal, or was it something that you felt like you could change?
I wasn't here to change anything. I think it was more of me trying to find my identity. I know, just as you guys, like, we are all Iranians, but then we're raised in the U.S., and then you see that all your friends end up being non-Americans, or most of them. And there's certain things that people just don't get, and I didn't get it either with my friends that I made anywhere else. It's just a matter of the traditions and culture. So for me, growing up in the U.S., and I was the only, how do I say, I was the only like Iranian-blooded person playing football as a woman in the U.S. But I just never felt like I never felt the positive vibes. That's what I can sum it up to. And when I moved to Iran, I think I had so much more passion and energy to play for them than anywhere else. And I really enjoy telling people that I'm an American Iranian. I play for the Iranian national team. That for me was much more important than playing in the U.S. One, because football or soccer in the U.S. has already become so popular. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I want to do the same thing for Iran and help with that movement.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead, Armin.
what was the atmosphere in the dressing room when Iran's women national football team got disqualified because of FIFA's rules against hijab?
Oh, well, that was, if you watched my TED Talk, I mean, you sure would have understood how heartbreaking it was. It was very shocking. Like, apparently they knew it from before, but no one mentioned it to us that this was going to happen to this severity. And just being in the locker room was not good. Like, I remember, like, I left the locker room because I was just like, I've given up my master's degree education from the UK to come train and make a difference. And I didn't really know what direction everything was going. So, and the worst part was that I mean, it wasn't a European, it wasn't a Southeast Asian person who told us. It was a Bahraini woman who told us, who understood our pain as well. So she understood it, and it just made everything a lot more complicated that this was happening, because she knew the situation. She knew, okay, in her country, from Bahrain, women have the same issues. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think everyone was just crying all together, and it wasn't making anything easier. But the good thing was that we did not just let go. We worked with the other countries who had the same problem. Like, more specifically, it was Jordan, and it was the vice president of FIFA, who's the Prince of Jordan. He's the one who really pushed this movement to go through. But you know, Iran was the whole team that couldn't play. Like, the other countries, they just had a few players here and there. But for a whole country not to play, that was just very embarrassing.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking because that's one of the reasons why when we heard about a TED Talk, or you're like, wow, somebody like you, that you're trying to basically change something and bring something, especially with the hardliners not accepting it. But Kat, my next question to you is, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you were in China with under 16. Are you now the head coach of the U16, or are you still the manager of U14? And my next question is, what do you think about this team, and how's the progress been, and what did people actually think of you guys in Iran? Are you guys getting any press news, stuff like that?
I will tell you, it's taken a lot of years to gain respect within the country, because one, it's a new thing for women to be so involved in sports, and this is a team sport. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you did have your individual players like riflery or taekwondo or martial arts, and they done a very, very good job in the federation to keep up with the momentum. But football was actually the first real women's team sport, and this is an Islamic Republic. Do you know what I mean? So this is like
Yes.
a whole new thing for everybody, for the players. But fortunately, as you all know, that Iranians love football, and it wasn't very difficult to get recognition and permission from the parents to get their kids involved. Because at the end of the day, everyone wants their child to be involved in something proactive and being very healthy, adopting a healthy lifestyle. And for me, I'm the only one that has had education outside of Iran for coaching. I've been sponsored by the Asian Football Confederation, UEFA, and FIFA to undergo very difficult courses, and that's how I was able to get my A license at the age of 25. And the federation has kept a very good relationship with me, and they've tried to use me in every which way possible, which I want them to. So for me, it's not just my focus on 14, 16, going back to 14. They have allowed me to have be the advisors for all the teams, actually, and even be part of the technical committee. And I'm trying to get all my information of what I know from my experience and whatnot, and trying to put it down and educate the other coaches. Although they are older than me, I think I have gained my respect because when I've been a player, I have undergone very difficult situations as a player and as a coach, because it's not easy. So that they've really they respect me, which is the best part, and they trust me. I was a part of the whole under-14 national team, which was great, but the under-16 wanted my help as far as getting a team together, finding a program that fits them to be able to get the conditioning and fitness up a lot, because we went to China, we're playing against the best of the best, you know?
Yes.
Playing against Japan and China and South Korea is no joke. And unfortunately, when our under-19 team went, they performed to the best of their abilities. So for me, I had to take what they experienced, find a program for the under-16 team, make them go under strenuous training programs. I mean, not just running around the field, but it was conditioning meant for football purpose. And I think when we went to China, we performed well. We did not lose badly. I mean, I think we lost about 4-0 each game, which is good comparatively to teams who have an amazing development system in their country for women's football. And for me, I was involved with the under-16 only for 6 months. So to get these girls from point A to point B was tough, but I think they advanced very well, and they did not complain once. They were ready to fight. And hopefully one day, if you guys ever see them play, you'll see what I mean by that. They played very good. We got praised a lot. They said that we've improved a lot, and right now within the federation, we're just working on developing our grassroots and our base.
Right.
So from that, we can grow and become much better, because we have the talent and we have the players. We need to have better coach education to train our players.
Yeah, I want to remain to the topic, talking about grassroots roots, and that's something that Iran is really struggling with, in the respect that basically producing talent to replacing basically veterans and stuff like that. But Kat, my question to you is, how do you go about recruiting these young women? Do they come out of their bubble? You know, how is it that you're like distinguish this talent from that talent? You know, going about trying to find what's the best key players that you could have in your team.
Well, we pack our suitcases and we travel all over Iran to find our players. But it's as easy as that. We have divided Iran into 9 regions, and the head coaches, the coaches, the technical advisors, they all go together as a group to these regions. Those regions, the ones that have good futsal teams, the ones that they think players will be good for football, they bring them out, and we have a festival in those regions, and that's how we're able to recruit our players.
Interesting. You know, it's like the thing with me is with Iranian football is that it's not also about always coaching and, you know, recruiting players, but you also need that support. You know, obviously I'm jumping the gun now, but do you think the nuclear deal, obviously that will be happening, do you think would that implement a new era for Iran's women's national team with the foreign corporate sponsored deals and interactions with European American soccer programs? Do you think that could potentially be a big help to us getting sponsors and stuff like that?
I think people would definitely have international support, because they see that Iranian women are athletically very strong. I mean, right now, even within the country, huge companies and corporations are visibly seeing this, and they do want to put their money down. But we have to make sure that the federation has a structure first. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I think once the structure has been implemented, people would want to come in, because I'm already speaking to huge European clubs, and they're like, we want to come into Iran. We know that there's talent, and we want to bring our money in. So I think, I mean, even once the sanctions are lifted and the SWIFT starts, you know, it's going to take a couple years, but overall, I mean, I don't want to be overly positive, but I will be very logical that yes, it will help definitely, because I mean we have European leagues. They have the experience, they have the knowledge and the know-how. We definitely need them, and they definitely want to come to Iran because it's good investment for them.
Okay, well, as you have seen recently, Iran's women's national futsal team has done incredibly well in Asia, winning the Asian Cup and wowing the world in the process. Do you think the same could happen with our women national football team?
Women's futsal has had a very long journey, and they have had amazing coaches. They have implemented really good programs, and futsal is extremely popular right now in Iran because one, there are a tremendous amount of facilities, and I think girls just like that more because it's a lot more stable than football. I mean, even our men's football teams, they have a hard time and they struggle a lot to find football fields across the country because one, it's very expensive to build and to maintain. Like even with the Azadi training grounds, it's extremely expensive to maintain that. So that's why women's futsal has grown over the years, because it's unfortunate that we can't have football. So those talented players, go play futsal. I think it's going to take, like I said, a lot of time and a lot of money to improve our women's football, because the federation has noticed that we have very, very good players, very talented. We have good coaches and whatnot, but we just need to have an infrastructure, and this is something that not even the men have yet. So they're working parallel to get this going, but like I said, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money. So hopefully, like I said, with the relief on sanctions, and the federation is able to get their money, because from like the FIFA World Cups, they're still not able to get what is owed to them. So hopefully, over time, in due time, we will get that going, because Mr. Khosrowyar has actually given me the responsibility to work on a development program for women's football. And I've started it, and I'm really trying to find ways that will really help get the infrastructure right for women's football.
Kat, I have my last question for you, and obviously you just talked about your future goals and stuff, but looking long term, will you still want to be part of Team Melli, or do you think you want to be like head coach of some other team overseas? What is predominantly your main future goal that you're trying to fix right now? Is it still what you just talked about, Katayoun, or is there some bigger project that you guys are trying to develop for the Iranian national?
Being a coach, being a trainer, being everything for the national team has been an honor. But with what I know, with the education I've received, with the experience that I've had in football, I think I need to do something a lot bigger. Definitely, I will always have my coaching responsibilities. Definitely, I'll always advise whatever team wants to be advised. But I have to move on to something a lot bigger that will help the nation. That, for me, I think that's a huge responsibility, and I think only I can do it, with the help, of course, of my co-workers. But I have moved on to doing that because it's what is needed for us to improve.
Kat, my friend, thank you so much for coming on Gol Bezan. Honestly, your story and what you're doing right now for our football is amazing. I wish our men would actually take some notes from this Afshin Peyravani and stuff, unfortunately, but because the men are also having difficulties. But hopefully we could also have you on the panel to talk about more Iranian football. But thank you so much, Tehran International School alumni. And I bet you your friend Holly Daggers, she's told me just to say hi to you right now on live. But nonetheless, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on.
I actually thank you guys for giving me this opportunity for talking about women's football. And Holly, hello. And to the rest of you guys, I hope to see you one day in Iran doing the amazing things that you're doing already.
I appreciate it, Kat. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.